Chris Ziomek. I'm the co-founder and managing partner for Build with Robots. Build with Robots is located at the FUSE Makerspace down at the Innovate ABQ campus. Our mission, our purpose is to bring robotic automation to New Mexico and New Mexico companies. So our belief is New Mexico is going to lead in the automated manufacturing, and we are trying to make Albuquerque and New Mexico a hub for this type of industry. We were working with C&M Ingenuity up at the Workforce Training Center in our early days with the intention of being an initial piece of the FUSE Makerspace. And that piece is bringing robotic automation to the machine tools and the woodworking tools and all the other equipment at FUSE. A lot of that equipment is going to move towards being robotic or robotically assisted in the next decade. And C&M Ingenuity, with their foresight, wanted to get a lead in that. So we partnered from day one. A robot can assist with anything that's repetitive, anything that's high volume, you'd be doing manually over and over the same thing. Also, things that tend to be dirty are a good fit for a robotic arm. So we have done things like sanding. So there's a laser cutter that has a standard board set that needs to be pre-finished with the sander. So we developed essentially a sanding algorithm to sand the boards of a standard shape and size. We've also done an integration with a welding tool set. So an arc welder and a robotic arm have been combined. So not only at FUSE can you weld by hand, if you have any volume of welding that needs to be done, the same thing over and over again, there is a robotic welder on the floor that's available for use by members. How can you use a makerspace or even an automated makerspace like FUSE to give you a leg up in a small business that has some manufacturing component to it? We see this all the time. There are a lot of small businesses, mainly on the craft side, making little boxes or jewelry, that use the tools here in the makerspace because the capital investment would be too much for an individual the economics wouldn't work. If they were to have to buy the equipment, they wouldn't be able to make the pieces at a reasonable cost. Their need for the equipment, a $100,000 milling machine or a $50,000 laser cutter wouldn't be used enough to make it worthwhile. Whereas they can join the makerspace and use it to do a batch of manufacturing in a day or a week, and then come back in 3 months and do it over again. And you don't have to pay for that equipment to be sitting idle most of the time. The thing we use the most at FUSE are the 3D printers. We use the 3D printers to print all sorts of gadgets. We'll do a CAD model for fingers for the gripper, or for I did one the other day to mount an ultrasonic sensor on our painting robot. It took me an hour to do, and that later that day I had a bracket that I could mount on the robot. 2 years ago, that would have taken a week to turn that around. Now I can turn around in less than a day. That's huge. And then as we go, these are plastic parts right now. As we go into production, often we'll take those same CAD models and convert them into a milling operation and build it out of metal. But that's, all that is here at the FUSE. Yeah, so a makerspace allows you to access equipment and do things that you wouldn't be able to do at home. The equipment that we have here at FUSE is top of the line. There's milling machines, there's plasma cutting machines, there's woodworking machines, all CNC controlled, computer numerically controlled machines that allow you to do things with precision and repeatability and in volume that there's no way you could afford, or most people could not afford, starting a business. And so a lot of the things that are done here are really high-end furniture, high-end metalworking, but they're done at low volume. And you see a lot of crafts and early startups get started and to prove out ideas and refine ideas by having access to a facility like FUSE.